Here we are on Sunset Boulevard, opposite the legendary Roxy Theater. The occasion, of course, the character's current performance. Soon, hopefully, we'll be speaking to some of the band members. Till then, we can take in the unique scenery. Notice many expensive cars. Indeed, this is the land of glitter, glamour. Danny, tell us a bit about the beginning of the group. How long has it been together?
Let's see, we've been together 4 years now. We got out of high school. I was working a wheel down in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. And so when I got back from the shore, I called up all my high school chums and said, listen, why don't we get a group together? Because we're just, wasting our lives in Shoetown, so let's do it. So that's basically what happened. I called up John, and then I called Chris up, and John brought Larry over to just help to set up the drums, and found out that we didn't have a bass player, so he decided to go out and buy a bass, and that's basically how we got together. And we got together to play some old Beatles and Stones and Kinks and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, we started writing songs, and the rest is history, I guess you could say. And coming out to California, boy, that was great. We came out here last September. We did this Monkeys convention, which was a lot of fun. Met a lot of nice people. Met Rodney Bingenheimer, who's like #1. I wish he was around so I could bring him into this conversation with me. If he's around, get him. But anyway, what we're going to do is we came out to California because they started playing Maryann on the air. And I think we're going to move out here maybe because it's just like, this is the happening place to be. Your turn.
Okay. Dan, you mentioned the record Maryann. How did that come about? An independent production?
Well, it's a demo tape right now. It's being played on the air, which is pretty unorthodox. But as soon as we get somebody to back it for us, we're going to put it out on a record, either as an independent record or maybe with MCA or Manhattan or somebody like that. Soon. We'll be coming out soon. The album, the single, all of it, it's ridiculous. See, like, this never happens. They never play a demo tape on the air. It's just like unheard of, So I mean, they've got like guaranteed sales. As soon as it comes out, the kids are gonna buy it because they're requesting it. So we're just got our fingers crossed and hope that it happens, because it's a drag playing in clubs and having nobody know your songs. I mean, you put out an album and they know 12 of your songs when you play them. Now they only know the one that they're playing on the radio. They're playing 2 on the radio actually. Another one called Siobhan, which is about one of the, well, it's not really, it was inspired by one of the girls in Bananarama.
So these are local fans who are here on the strength of the record rather than people you've flown out from the East Coast?
No, these are not East Coast people. I mean, there's a few East Coast people here, like about 3 or 4, but most of it is West Coast people. And I'd like to introduce you to Chris Roselle, who'd like to say something real quick.
Say something.
See, I found Chris in a pawn shop. I needed a dummy for the act. So what I do is I put him on my lap like this, and then I pull this little string in his back, and then I ask him questions like, "Do you like being in the characters?"
Yes. Yes, I do.
It was a good thing you done that. It was a good answer. It was a good answer too, by the way.
Wild out here.
Chris said they're wild out here. Anyway, we're acting a little silly now, but is there any,
Usually very serious.
We are. You can tell by our appearance and by our stage antics that we're serious, craft-minded musicians, is what you could say. Let's see, what else can we talk about?
Are you often classified as power pop?
Yeah, but I don't mind that because, I mean, the Beatles were power pop, and so were like a lot of our favorite groups, like the Raspberries, and I don't know who else. Let me try and think. The Knack, the Monkees. The Monkees are a great group. Just power pop is the Bangles, the Go-Go's. We love all that stuff. It's good music. It's the stuff we grew up on. We don't do only pop stuff. We do a couple ballads. We vary it up. But I think that there's definitely a resurgence of power pop, which I think for a while it wasn't happening. Like people like Marshall Crenshaw and stuff weren't selling a lot of records, but with the Bangles breaking again and the Monkees coming back, I think there's room for pop and a group like us. So if you're a record company, remember that. You'll sell a lot of records.
Not too serious.
Not too serious either. Right? Right?
Definitely cute.
How about the songs? You write most of them, I trust?
Yeah, I write the songs. I'm basically a songwriter. I'm not much of a musician. I mean, I go get by on guitar, but basically I let the other guys worry about being the musicians because I'm basically a songwriter. I don't have the patience to sit down and practice a lot because I'd rather, when I sit down with a guitar, I'd rather write a song or come up with something creative rather than play a lick I've heard someplace else. So I know enough to get by, but I'm basically a songwriter. You know, like Chris is a guitar player, and he'll tell you about that right now.
Tell us about it, Chris. The roots.
The roots of what? Well, like Danny said, you know, he writes the songs, brings it down, presents it to the band, and we all put our input into the songs, and we talk about it, what we should keep or what doesn't stay, and
Sort of a democratic arrangement.
definitely, without a doubt.
No, it's not. Whatever.
For now, it's a democratic
No, it is.
arrangement.
It really is. I mean,
When we leave,
what we do is we sit down and we talk about the stuff, and we go over it. And if you know every little part, we go like, how does everyone feel about this? And if one guy doesn't like it, we kind of have a rule that if one guy is really dead against it, we don't do it because it's not. If one of us really hates it, maybe it's not right, you know. So we try it a few different ways, but luckily we've been together 4 years. We haven't had to commit anything to vinyl yet, so we can play with all our stuff now. I mean, when you start putting out a lot of albums or one a year or whatever, you know, you've got to come up with your arrangement and stick by it. But I've changed the song called "Puppet on a String," which we've been doing for 4 years because it was our first original. I've changed it 100 times, you know, and it keeps getting better, or at least we think it is. You know, maybe we're overproducing it, but that's basically, you know, what we do is we just get together and we work on the tunes. And the thing is, we've known each other for 4 years, and beyond that, like John was my lab partner in 8th grade in junior high school, and the rest of us, we're all from Union. We all grew up together. I mean, when the band started, I didn't know who I was going to do it with, and now that I've been with these guys, I can't imagine doing it with anyone else. It's such a good quote. I always say that, you know.
That's good.
Maryann, Maryann doesn't know who I am. I'm not part of her scene. You know what I mean? I don't fit in her plans. Maryann, Maryann, I'll do all that I can. Ought to prove it to you. You know that it's true, my Maryann. Hey, now once I felt so empty inside, my loneliness I couldn't hide. But I don't feel that way no more.
I got every Beatle record at home, every Beatle record. We didn't get to see it. What kind of police protection?